greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free. What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
This is an emergency recording of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show. Before we get started, yes, I am your host, V. So I have my friend here, Alex. We'll just go on a first name basis. I got Alex here. Alex, please tell us your situation.
Hi, V is a longtime friend of mine, as he said. My situation is pretty bad. I was a regular, is a key word here. I was Protestant, regular church-going Protestant American, trying to make the American dream happen in the remnants of the dying American Empire, and we're at the end of Kali Yuga here too. So, I mean, I didn't even know what that stuff was. I didn't know what Gnosticism was. I didn't know what a Kundalini was. I didn't know what all this government was, but it was, you know, it's that time when it's kind of being forced on everybody in one way or another. And I'm in a situation where I was arrested without any charges, without my rights being read, just like a silent arrest. I was pressured and did not, because I had no idea what was going on, into joining some Freemasons. I used to work at a government data center. I had a security clearance. I guess they wanted, you know, they're fast tracking people now because they're probably going to wipe a bunch of, you know, there's like planned mass extinction events. This is a Knights Templar badge. You know, it says, I think that says Brussels in German or something, and then it shows when they started in the year 1128. I didn't believe in like conspiracies or aliens or any of that bullshit, but it's real as it is so real. It is serious business. This all started when I got married. I grew up in a lot of different faiths, didn't really have an identity. Things are pretty bad in the United States. I mean, we're a wealthy country, don't get me wrong, but culturally, in every way, there's just a lot of things thrown into the face of youth. There's a lot of very broken systems that are being held up in very terrible ways, very broken ways. School system is one of those things. I grew into someone who played a lot of video games and was very overweight, and I was very distant from people.
Actually, you and I met over a video game.
We did, man.
You were actually talking to me, and I was at the beginning of a very disturbing relationship, and I actually used video games to cope with the situation. That maybe I could meet people, and I did. I met the best people. People a lot.
Can't stop love.
You were asking me about my life, and I told you about who I was, my military service, and you're asking me about joining the military, and I was like, oh God.
Don't fucking do it, is what you said.
That was the beginning of my truther path. If I could save one soul from not going into the U.S. military, please let it be this man. And lo and behold, I did save you. I did. I mean, I'm just saying that for my own edification. If
You really did in a way.
disagree, go ahead and disagree.
Yeah.
But it's just wow. Like you're not too much younger than me, but I felt like for the first time in my life that the things that I could say would mean something to someone. My own blood, sweat, and tears that I gave my advice to someone for the first time. And now, well, I give the greatest advice in the world. Those who follow that advice are golden. Those who don't follow that advice are effed over and out. But you're one of the first people that followed that advice, did not go to the military. And, you're still here with us in the flesh, living. But those who dodge the knife, dodge the razor, dodge the guillotine are eventually faced, are eventually put in situations to face it again.
Well, I think that's great. That's very accurate. I don't give myself enough credit. I am pretty hard on myself, but for the sake of this interview, I'll say that, I was somebody who was very much under the radar when I was younger. I was very, again, overweight, and I went through a lot of darkness, and I went through that darkness here with V, and eventually I just consistently made good choices is what happened, and I ended up excelling in everything I did. Now, regardless of excelling in any area, it doesn't change a person's innocence or naivety or ignorance of things that are much larger than the individual. And when you have ability in one way or another, it is very desirable to certain people. And the system we have here in this country, and really it's a big system, it's a huge system, and it's failing, but it needs to be put down. And it's that system is designed to recruit individuals to do certain things, to accomplish certain things. Specifically, I'll go into detail on this. I started, I was very interested in God. I'm a very spiritual person. When I was younger, I went to a Jewish community center. I really loved it. I had no idea what went on there. I went to a lot of different churches. I eventually went to a Mormon church, very cult-like, by the way, didn't know. So I started losing weight. I got married. I got married in the Mormon church. My wife, I'm in the process of a divorce. We've been struggling a lot. She has substance abuse problems.
Well, now, I didn't know this. Now, people, this is genuinely news to me. Not to be too surprised, because I do my guests on the fly so that we all learn together. I'm not one of these mainstream media control freaks, as you all know. And I have to preface myself. It seems sort of like a bit of a jackass at this point, but we are transitioning the network and so forth. The old will continue with the new. We have not been bought off, okay? And I will go ahead and continue that statement with something that is controversial. Mormon Church. So you have got yourself in an occult. Well,
oh man,
a cult situation.
Yeah,
a cult situation. So go ahead with that.
My mother, she's a very spiritual woman. Her father told her a lot of things he should not have. He was a 33rd or higher degree master mason. He worked on, I think, black projects, which is a lot of like real gang for real. And consequently, that kind of carried over into her own life as she was confronted with things with knowledge. And knowledge is real faith, by the way. You know, knowledge that makes a person go to certain places and do certain things, like, you know, get your children involved in churches they shouldn't. You know, it doesn't matter how good your intentions are. There's no excuse for ignorance, unfortunately. And that is taken advantage of. Everybody's ignorance is taken advantage of consistently, every day. You have no idea how bad it is. Some of you might know, but most people do not know how bad things are right now. As I got to be an adult, it got really weird. I'm going to have to be very open about a lot of myself, and that's okay. Doesn't bother me none. I'm a yogi. I do a lot of yoga. My wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, was having a lot of substance abuse issues, and she would never come to church with me. So I went to a Protestant church. I made friends there, had like a big community there. I went for about 3 years. Then I decided to get baptized. I think that's when the devil, quote unquote, tried to really get at me. I could not get baptized there, but I did, and my marriage was failing at the time. That was the beginning of divorce proceedings and the marriage failing.
Well, explain that situation right there. Why couldn't you get baptized?
You know, I know what you're going. This is important.
It's very important.
Yeah, it is very important. Protestant churches, although I did well there, Protestant churches, they preach death. They preach self-hatred. They preach racism. You know, the whole church is just white people in North Face clothing, and, you know, America brought to you by, you know, Starbucks. Basically, it's sick. Anyway, I always stood out because I met the challenge of Scripture. You know, I've always been somebody who runs the extra mile, who helps others, who genuinely cares about people. And the problem with my community and a large Protestant community in America is that they help people out of fear of going to hell. They don't help people out of love. They don't help people out of any other reason than, well, I just don't want to go to hell. As I got a new job at some point, I was in shape. I got a great education. I was a welder at first, but my body didn't do too well. You know, we have a big problem in this country with 70-hour, 80-hour work weeks and $15 an hour, minimum wage, or better skilled labor wage. And you see a TSA agent touch your wiener at the airport, and he'll get paid $20 to do that. And that's happened to me, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it happens. My work is obviously way more valuable and useful. But then I got into IT because it was way easier on my body. What I didn't understand is how the education system ties into recruitment for certain things. So I ended up, I thought it was just an IT job for like the VA, but they vet you at those places and they try to groom you to join certain groups. So people like me who are very intelligent can make the hard decisions, like who to bomb and who to in the you know what I mean.
A lot of my audience are target individuals. There are some of you who are not, and for those target individuals that are out there, they understand that yes, the system is set in a certain way where those of us who even have the qualifying attributes, qualifications, are skipped out of the way because of certain beliefs, someone's certain dislike, someone's certain race or belief are moved out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, now this is the only reason why affirmative action exists is to mask that process in which still continues on. Okay, now, I mean, Alex knew who I was from the start, you know, this gamer dude, this black dude, you know, you know, he accepted me like anybody else in the world, and that sort of thing. Socially, that's not that uncommon, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank whoever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to making money and the hierarchy and all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
affirmative action is only there to let in those Uncle Toms who were there to brainwash the rest of his race and to control and manipulate the rest of his race.
Yes, he's right. He's speaking the truth.
Is attributed to not just African Americans, but Indians, Hispanics, anybody else who was let into the system, which you'll be considered at a blue lodge level, will not continue any further. They're not going to be considered for a 13th degree, 23rd degree, 33rd degree Freemason. It's not going to happen. Okay, this is what it is. You will be used as a Blue Lodge Mason. They'll make you feel like your family. Yes, they will.
They will, yeah.
Feel like you're one of them.
You're not family, though. You're not family, though. Yeah.
But, case in point, Michael Jackson was going to be the richest black man in the world, walking away with half of Sony's.
They really got to him, man.
Oh, Michael Jackson's going to walk away with half of Sony. Half of Sony. I can't say anything else. No, half of Sony.
That's a lot of money.
They sold him so fast. They've been trying to degrade him throughout the years because here was a black man who was working his way towards freedom. Yes, he had some sort of disease that was going to make him white or whatever. I think that was staged for his own benefit by himself. Vitiligo or something like that. But I believe he bleached himself and I'm in this. He made this music video, Black or White, and he really just wanted to escape the persecution he was going through. And and I actually watched a female today as we were going through some YouTube videos, Michael Jackson videos, and I watched a woman come to tears in front of me over a music video. I was like, really? Michael Jackson has this effect in real? I saw it for the first time in real life. Michael Jackson made this woman cry in front of me as we listened to the music videos.
Yeah,
I'm still bewildered, but
cool
not to get too far off track, but the Freemasonry, the speculative Freemasonry that exists today, not real Freemasonry. I call it speculative Freemasonry because it's not real. It's pseudo Freemasonry.
Yeah, a lot of it's very corrupted.
It has evolved into the Freemasonry that controls society today. It's just that a cult who is knowledgeable and unknowing.
It's like mysticism and Kabbalah, like all kinds of like people have. This is going to get pretty heavy, if that's okay. A lot of the teachings and knowledge are hidden from most individuals because when you don't have knowledge, you're kept enslaved by sex, by drugs, like drugs that are sold in your community, by alcohol, by the bread and circuses of like football and celebrities and things. And I used to like think about that a little bit, but not really much. And so to continue my story, I was going to my job and, I couldn't I was in a place where I couldn't get baptized at church. I think like I was kind of making them look bad or something. People there have big egos, and I don't hold a grudge. But I just wanted a church because I wanted to worship. Like I love God. I love Jesus. I'm very close with God. And so I started talking to somebody at work, or who works with work more specifically, and they started sharing things with me that I had no clue what they were. I didn't understand. This stuff went right over my head. I thought Gnostic Christianity was just another form of Christianity, like Lutheran or something. So I started really investing myself in Gnostic teachings. I thought a lot of Jesus's quotes from the Book of Thomas and the Gospel of Philip or whatever were very odd, but I'm like, well, I mean, it seems like a good church to go to. So I went to this church and I started talking with people, and obviously I'm a very capable individual, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea I had stepped into a brood of vipers, so to speak. And so I was asked to join what I thought was a Christian church, but it was like a lodge of Freemason.
Hidden lodge.
Yeah, hidden lodge, hidden Russian lodge. And I took the orders, and I'm on the tail end of my marriage, so I'm like, well, I really want to join this monastery, but they did not intend for me to join a monastery. Next thing I knew, I'm in like South Rockford, which is north of Chicago, and I just got out of jail because my wife tried to shoot herself. She was doing drugs and taking antidepressants, and she tried to shoot herself with her own gun, by the way. I don't own any guns. And
well, you know what? Teaser for the audience. We got to come back from break.
Okay.
And we'll get right back into that.
Sure thing. Yeah, sure.
Hello, my name is V. I'm the host of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, Family Case Files TV show, Infotainment Tonight, and Targeted. And I want to let you guys know about the new TV network, Truthtainment TV Network, which you can find all these wonderful programs on. And even an added bonus, my documentary series, you can find there. The Targeted documentary series. As a matter of fact, I want you guys to please subscribe to our new TV network. And yes, we are still with the Liberty Beacon Television Network as well. So check those guys out too at TLBTV.com. Thank you.
And yes, this is still the Red Pill Hardcore TV show. I am your host, V, and this is one of my good friends. And he was telling us about his wife, which almost killed herself, which Alex is the hero. I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead in the story.
Oh, it's true. It's true, man.
Alex is the hero saving this woman from suicide. Alex, please continue.
Sure. My wife is a very wealthy woman, or soon-to-be ex-wife is a very wealthy woman. She comes from a family of certain blood that goes back a long way. She had a problem with hitting her husband, which is not good. So one night she had a big problem with some drugs and antidepressants, mixing them, and that's not a good idea. And she tried to commit suicide. Now, I've called the police before, and they have not done anything. Part of the, I guess, agenda to destroy good is really the destruction of the nuclear family. So even though, I'm clearly, I have bite marks, I'm beat up, and I took a gun out of my wife's mouth because of what I was involved in, I was arrested without being read my rights, without charges, complete silence. I called simply to get her to a hospital to get help. That, you know, I was released to jail. I was let out of jail. I was brought down to like a house I've never been to in like South Rockford. I was there were a lot of things there that were a little suspicious, but I had no idea what was going on at this point. There were a lot of military contracting computers and things in the house. It was a very rundown, like a crack house or something. My Gmail was being monitored. I want you guys to know that those who have access to certain patents, encryption patents and things, can monitor your Gmail, and they do. They can change text on your phone. Verizon is a big company that leases out stuff to military like civilian contractors. It's nuts. Your texts, man, they are edited when they need to be. You are a slave. You need to wake up. So I was brought down there, and I was presented with a lot of I really hit. This is all way over my head. I was a very ignorant individual, and I have suffered for it. But I was presented with a very expensive escort, and I was presented with marijuana, which I did smoke because I didn't know what was happening. I thought it was just marijuana. By the way, marijuana is great. I support marijuana. And anyway, they were. What happens is they take pictures of you doing certain things, like sexual things. These contractors or masons or government or whatever, and they use these pictures to leverage against you if you ever go into political office or whatever. The thing they didn't know is that I was very content at my job. I was very content being a Christian, a working man. I was very content with my faith. Specifically, this is how after my Kundalini ended, I saw the divine light, and why I do yoga now and follow like Sri Ramakrishna's teachings and Sadhguru Yagi Yasudev or Vasudev, I think is his name. I followed their teachings.
And just before you get too far,
Sure.
I had a discussion, several discussions, and I don't know how many times I've said this on my show, but this is the formula. And actually, I know I've never said this on the show. I've never got this detailed on the show. I want to tell you people, for these pedophiles in the government,
Oh yeah,
who are running everything, they do not start off as pedophiles. You get these politicians, you get these rock stars, you get anybody, they're sent to 18-year-olds or however many. Then you send them a few 16-year-olds, and hey, that was a gaggle of fun.
absolute power.
The politician could not tell the difference. Especially with how the food is today, all the antibiotics and all steroids. You know, eventually you get the 14-year-olds and the 12-year-olds up in there. All these rock stars, politicians, whoever. And they're having a good time. They cannot tell the difference. Leverage. Okay, now you got that fulcrum, that swinging point. You got that with your politicians, rock stars. Now I can have more like that, or I can have I can be exposed for a pedophile. I can have more like that, or I can be exposed for a criminal. And that's how you get these people who degrade themselves to thinking that touching a 4-year-old child, it's a degradation period. There is a cult, a pedophile cult that runs the world, but not everybody is like that. as much as I want to hate the government, as much as I want to hate the politicians, they do not start off as the scumbags I speak about. There is this degradation that goes along. I'm glad you point that out, folks.
Yes,
Please go ahead.
Sure, yeah. As soon as I learned what was going on, because again, I was completely oblivious to this stuff, I was like, man, when am I going to join the monastery? Like the whole time, this is going on. Like I'm thinking I'm going to go to a monastery to be a monk. I was raised by a monk, so, made sense to me. I have a lot of military family. Made a lot of sense to me. Like, yeah, I'm going to be a monk. I mean, I don't want to get remarried, so might as well. But anyway, they bring out the hooker, and then, they're trying to take pictures, and they're using all kinds of weird technology, by the way, a lot of beeping stuff, a lot of weird stuff. I went out the door. I ran 30 miles. I ran. They were following me in a car too. I ran. I had to ditch the phone. I ran. They were tracking the phone, by the way. They were changing my text that I was sending to my friends to try to get help. And I talked to my friends later about that. I ran 30 miles until the skin fell off the bottom of my feet. Thank God I listened to God, and I started, exercising my body, and I became physically fit, and I fixed a lot of my health problems. I could go into a lot on how the medical system is very broken too, but regardless, I ran 30 miles. I eventually got picked up by a cop who had no idea how I got there, what was going on. He didn't ask questions. I got lucky here, or blessed, and he took me to my mother's house, and I just put my feet up on the couch and was sitting there like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? And anyway, I ended up, I lost my job. I tried to move away. I moved out of state, but then I had an ongoing court case for all these phony charges that were very made up. Still ongoing, by the way. And it's like, it's sucking the life out of me. They keep dragging the court case out on purpose, even though it's obviously very illegal, with evidence that it's very illegal, with evidence I did nothing wrong, with evidence that I was the victim in this.
Well, they're dragging it out because they know they got nothing against you.
Yes, that's
They're
true.
waiting. The court system in itself is waiting to suck granddaddy Freemason, a speculative Freemason, out of his money. They're waiting, and see, the establishment exists so long as people use the establishment. There are those of us who cry out for justice. There are those of us who have to be subject to that court. There are those who have to pump money into that court. Now, tax dollars is one thing. Tax dollars, we all pay them. Despite how much, we don't get a say in how those tax dollars are spent. It's enough to keep the skeleton on the Reaper going. Now, you want to flesh out the Reaper, that's what the elite class is for. The muscles of the skeletal system move, and guess what? They move against you, the people. They don't move for you. They move for the elitist class. Okay? You're not going to get any justice. Especially if you've offended anyone or are notable to anyone within the system, you're not going to get any justice. It's going to move against you, as the system was built that way. Go ahead, Alex.
Sure. No, that's correct. I do not have a criminal record, by the way. This is my first charge, and it is a bogus charge, but it is a legitimate charge. Legitimately there, not a legitimate charge. Regardless. So I've been trying to get through this divorce. I'm in a lot of debt now. I don't really have anything to lose, but I do keep my faith every morning. I pray. I take the things I learned. Really, I kind of you could say maybe I walked away with the golden goose, because I walked away with the ultimate gift, which was knowledge, and I have faith. I know how to take care of my body. I know how to pray. I know how to be a light to other people. And you know, there's a lot of these men are old men. They justify what they do by, oh, everything's the same, do whatever you want. But evil is evil and good is good, and God is love. God is not hurting children. God is not sacrificing children. God is not trafficking children. I have no idea how they thought I could ever do that or would want to do it. That's nuts. There is a big trafficking network, and it's getting smaller because it's not going to be around forever, because the light is coming. The light is going to come back, and he, she, God, all of these good beings, these beings of light are going to stomp. They're going to cook these guys. They're going to cook these bad guys. And regardless of what you believe, you can trust that as we are moving from Kali Yuga to Satya Yuga, it is going to be an age of light, of Christ consciousness, of good things. And you do not need to serve the darkness, and don't let anybody tell you you need to serve any darkness. That is a lie.
Alex. Philosophy aside,
Sure.
I want to dig into those who are digging into you.
Sure, yeah.
We need names. I need the
Sure, yeah.
name, the defense, the prosecutor.
Yeah, I'll give you names, sure.
The court clerk's name.
Okay.
And if you can provide me that, I guarantee you, these people will not get rid of me.
My karma's too good to go down that easy.
So let's come out with it. Come on.
The court system I'm going through, and you can look this up, is the Rock County court system in Wisconsin. And specifically, they're trying very hard to punish me, and they are working together in ways that are very illegal. They are very these are very egregious things they're doing. Now, spending a night in jail, I got a huge perspective on how African Americans are put down, and that once they are in the system for something small, even, they are kept in there. Like, man, I had so many special privileges in a way because of my skin color.
I am so not going to get into white privilege on this show.
Yeah, I don't want to do it too much, but I'm just saying I will
nuke the population on white privilege, and I don't have the energy, brother. I don't have.
Okay.
To. Let's not alienate the audience, because that's who my audience is. I may be an officer in a lot of militias and Black Panther Party, but
sure. I'm sorry, man. There's just so much to talk about.
There and alienate them.
Yep.
And I'm not a racist. A Black Panther Party member or not, the majority of the people I know are white. The majority of my friends are white. Right. You're proof of that.
Right.
The majority of everything in my life is Caucasian and white.
Yeah. Right.
I hate anything. But what I want to do here, and we're going to break for a part two. I'm going to break for a part two.
I am V from the Red Pill Hardcore radio show and TV show. I'm here to tell you guys about my militia, the Red Pill Militia of Minnesota. The militia is there to protect the people of the United States from any enemy that may threaten our way of life, regardless of religion or political stance. We will unite the people as one to fight tyranny of any form from anywhere, including our own government. We will see the people free again. I hope you would like to join my militia. Please visit our Facebook page, The People's Red Pill Militia. Like, comment, let us know in general what you think, And if you want to be a volunteer, all you have to do is coordinate with our members. We're all honorary brothers of the militia because we all protect our freedoms. Our constitutional rights are the most important things that we have as American citizens. So please help me in protecting those rights and join my militia.
Look, Alex, please just talk about it. We need court.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
Okay. So
court. Well, we need court information because we gotta beat these criminals on their terms.
yes, sir.
Us. That's just how it is.
As far as specific names, let's see. This is taking place in a small town, very corrupt town. The DA I have is the prosecuting DA is an Anne Teresa Knack, ANNETHERESA, very corrupt individual. The judge, I believe his name is a Carl, KARLR Hanson, HANSON. There's a DA case number 2018 capital R capital O 002717. This is if you do look this up, you can obviously see they've rescheduled this like countless times at this point, just because they don't want to. I mean, they're very liable for a lot, and they don't want to take it to trial, but they are trying to. And I will speak if I go to trial. Another thing, they hold the courtroom in a secret courtroom. This is a courtroom that's out of the way, where there's no one there but state officials. It is very, very sketchy. They don't keep this with the general public where things are recorded. They take you into a secret courtroom, and they want to mess with you real bad in there. And they also
The psychological warfare.
It is. It really is, man. I'm a tough nut, though. I got tough nuts. They schedule me always as the last every time I have to show up, and it costs a lot of money for me to constantly rearrange my life to deal with this.
That is trauma-based mind control, ladies and gentlemen. MK All Show, which has been embedded into your courts. Mm-hmm. Who said it first? Me. Go ahead.
I want people to know, because I want to share this. I have extremely bad from this incident PTSD, because seeing my own wife trying to take her own life and then having to save her life and then being arrested and going through this hell. It was an out-of-body experience for sure. It was a terrible out-of-body experience, and they do not care. They want somebody liable. They want blood, and it is not going to be me. It's not going to be me. I'm not going to be a victim, because I serve good. I serve truth. I serve light, and I'm not going to be a victim. And these people, they don't deserve me. Let's see. The filing date for this was 5/30/2018. There's also a Rock County case number. The case number is 2018 C, capital C, that's a capital C, and then a capital M, 3 zeros, and then 529. You can look at the charges. Most of them, about 90% of the charges are complete bogus. They're completely bogus. Even my ex-wife, we are going through divorce as civil as possible, and even they wanted her to testify against me, but she won't do it. She won't do it because it's super illegal, and they don't seem to care. And all I can do is fight and not become a victim. I don't need to martyr myself. That is not love. That is death. That is preaching death. I am not going to be a victim. I am not going to martyr myself. I am not going to lay down. This is bull-loney. And this kind of stuff happens all the time. You know, that's the situation I'm in. I have a lot of debt. A lot of my identification information, you know, a lot of Black projects, they have people work under 2 social security numbers. Specifically, mine was given out, and I've destroyed credit. I have no money. I'm very educated, very educated. My resume looks great. I can't find a job really. I did recently get an okay one. I'm trying to get an apartment. And this is just the system, you know. I tried everything to function in this system, and the system is failing now, and I could not function. And so the system wants me to be a victim because...
Well, Alex, I can tell you that being a Black man, there has been so much put against me, but being an intelligent Black man, there has been so much put forward for me. I have been in courtrooms where the judges would say, holy crap, you're intelligent. Why are you in my courtroom? When I would explain the situation to them, they say, no, we're not having any of that garbage. You're free to go, or, you know, whatever. I'm not saying all judges are corrupt. There are those Freemason cookie biters, and there are those who made their way to their positions justly. And the system in itself is not inherently racist. You have those who are put in positions, job that they are to do when it's time to do them.
I don't want people to think that I am considering myself a victim. I have to defend myself. I mean, any person would defend themselves if they were under attack. And the problem is, most individuals are not as capable as I am. They're not as independent as I am, free of attachment as I am. They are made out to be a victim. Like, they are attacked and they cannot overcome a system this big, a system this corrupt. At every turn, they just find more and more evil. And I do not consider myself a victim. You know, I'm not going to preach about identity politics or any of that bull crap, but what I'm saying is things are very different than what they appear to be. You know, everything I knew was a lie, and I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn that my way of life was not sustainable, that my way of life was supporting a failing evil system, and then I had to not only defend myself, but adapt in order to just survive, and hopefully eventually thrive. Everything I need is inside me. God lives in me, and I will survive. I will live on. All people will live on, and we will all be together again one day, in my opinion. But the time is now for the light, and it is not to enable a failing system to attack others, like like whoever's listening, like me, like.
Well, I'll tell you right now. I'm here in Poland, as everyone knows who watches the show. I'm being denied my citizenship here. Although I've been here for over 2 years now. I'm being denied my citizenship. And even the EU states, the EU and UN states that there's basically nothing to block me from my citizenship here. But the Polish system, the Polish governmental system is blocking my citizenship. Even Poland is breaking the law by not giving me my citizenship. They can't kick me out of the country because I haven't broken any laws. I'm not a criminal. If I were to travel outside the country and try to come back in, they could bar me from coming back to my own home, to which I'm registered to. Can you believe that?
I can believe it. I did it, but I was made a believer.
Politically watched, and that is, it's so amazing. I'm sorry, Alex. Go ahead. Please.
No, sure. Yeah, I want people to know it is okay. When you come to truth, you preach your own truth. If you're suffering, you can get out of it in some way. And it's getting better. It's hard for many people. And many people are not going to make it. But I want you to know that you who are listening, you're the light, and you need to speak up. And when we shine our lights, the enemy's not going to stand. Okay, the light is
here
knowledge.
to destroy illusions, my friend.
Yes, exactly.
The light in itself is of Lucifer, and when you are of Lucifer, you are of the deceiving light.
I'm talking about the light of
these so-called Freemasons, these speculative JOs who think they know something but don't know it. God dang. It is the very essence, and they try to color our world, somewhere over the rainbow. They try to color our world with the illusions that they have, but some of us know better. And it is the light which can confuse us. People, there's a balance with everything. You gotta have light, you gotta have darkness. That's why we have our awake time. That's why we have sleep. That's why we have night, and that's why we have day. For those of us who get so caught up in the left path or so caught up in the right path, both paths are wrong. You got to have the middle path. And that is when you can discern truth from fiction, lies from truth, just anything. You can discern. You can discern. And that is the ability of critical thinking. That is the ability to not being a slave. That's freedom.
Yep.
I think so. But Alex, please, one more time. I gotta burn these people. No, you have people after you, my friend. I gotta burn these people. I need the judge. If you said it before, it's fine. Reiterate.
Yeah.
Judge, the court, the case number. I need everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put
I'll say
fire.
it again. The case number is 2018 capital C capital M 30529. It was filed on 5/30 of 2018. It is a criminal case. The responsible official, I think that's the judge, is Carl R. Hansen, Karl R. Hansen, Hanson. And then the prosecuting agency attorney, who is a real snake, is an Anne, Teresa, Theresa, Knack, Nack. I was wondering, I could even drop info on like trafficking networks if you don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. I think that's
another show, my friend.
Okay.
Let's get you into this. That'll be your backup information.
Sure.
That'll be your keep you safe information, because that is my primary thing.
Sure.
I've got the trafficking handled. You can give that to me.
Okay.
Secretly, but I've got all of that. As far as my efforts, it's on and popping. Family Case Files, people, watch that show. That's my TV show, Family Case Files. I have a lawyer on for every CPS case. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting the whole system on trial. Oh, God dang.
They will be judged.
Please join me. If you want to sit on the sidelines, I'll tell you what, people sit on sidelines don't get to enjoy the spoils of war. So it's time to pick a side.
Yes.
And I would say choose wisely.
Yes.
With that said, thank you, Alex, for coming on to the TV show.
You're welcome, B.
My good friends. I'm going to look after you. This is another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, and catch you next week.